Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Naresh Chetri. So today in this video, we are going to learn on the top of the return values. We have already learned how we can return a simple value in our earlier video. So if you haven't watched that, so returning the simple value, so please go ahead and watch that. So there are several ways of returning the values. Obviously in the Python function. So we are talking about the Python function. So in that way, we are trying to return today the value for the optional argument. So on the top of that, we can also return the value as a list, which is a popular data type, and also as a dictionary. We can return a value, or we can pack those value in one of the data types, like the popular data type list, which is also known as the Python array, and over the dictionary. So we will see that returning value over the list and dictionary in the next video. But in today's video, we will try to learn about the returning the optional value, or sometimes we call it an optional argument, and why it is needed. Yeah. So sometimes in our program, it is needed to return an optional argument because we don't know the user can provide the argument or not, or by mistake sometime user forgot to provide the argument. So in that case, in that way, we can use the default value to make an argument optional. Yeah, so that doesn't generate an error in our program. So something like this, if we have a function definition to return a full name, so we have a first name and we have a last name. So we already know many people has the first name and last name, but many people doesn't have the middle name. So in that way, so we have expanded the previous function to handle the middle name, or in the sense that we want to make that middle name as a optional arguments. To make the middle name optional, we can give a default value, as we have said. So we can make that middle name as optional. So the way is that just we can specify an empty string for the middle name. Yeah. So over here we can say that word like a empty string. That means we can control that string and set the middle name to an empty string, in the sense that if the user only returns first name and last name, the program works. And in the case that the user returns the third, that's the middle name, then also the program works. So calling this function is pretty simple and straightforward. So the great advantage is that this modified function works for people who just have first name and last name, and also works for people who have the middle name as well. Yeah. So we don't have to worry about that. So for example, something like that, some student may have the first name and last name only as Dylan Desware for the first name and last name that match exactly to the first name and the last name, and the middle name is by default set as the blank or as an empty string for Dylan. And in the second case, for another student, if we have a middle name as William, then that will override that empty string. That means the empty string will be replaced by William, and then he or the student 2 will get the middle name also. So we will see the exact implementation in our Google Colab in a separate working code. The code is here for our program for returning the optional arguments. It is pretty straightforward. Like we see that code in our PT, we have a definition for our function having 3 parameters: first name, last name, and middle name. And you already know out of the third one we have set as the empty string. So the only difference is that we have used the if and else clause. So if and else clause in the sense that if any student that comes with the middle name, we already say if middle name, so if middle name holds any value other than empty string, then we will combine that all 3 in the sense that adding a space between the name. Otherwise, we will simply combine only first name and last name in the sense that it will be only for the first name and last name only. And while returning that name, we return the full name using the title. You already know the title means it will convert that name to the title case. That means whatever the name of the student, Dylan, the first letter will be capital. Over here, Desware, the first letter will be capital. So we have done the two function call. So the first function call is having the student with only first name and last name, which will obviously go and satisfy the else part over here inside our function. And another function call, or the second function call, we have a student with all three names, which we have a middle name William instead of the empty string. That will satisfies the if part, and then we pack all those three, we combines that all those three and get print as the full name, the title. So let me go over here and run over here, and you can easily see the Dylan Desware. This is for the student one from the else part of our function, and Smith William Miller is the middle name is William, that comes from the part. So what happened if I only provide a single name, or if I provide only the first name or last name? Yeah. So here is a question for you. So what happens if I provide only first name, or only last name? In the sense that if I make another function call, or we say another function call, or hard function call. Yeah. So think about that. So what happens if I provide only Dylan or only Desware in our program, and if I don't provide the last name and any other things? So yeah, please reply on the comment. Yeah, and I know exactly you understand the exact part of the coding or not, because here we have only said the middle name is the empty string, not other. And let's see what you will get, or what error you will generate. Yeah. Till then, that I hope you understand, and thank you for watching.